Good morning. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show. My name is Leon Jones. Today's topic: the Power 5 social conferences are destroying Western civilization. The Power 5 social conferences are destroying Western civilization. Now, some of you may be wondering how I came up with the Power Five. Now, Power Five is language used by the NCAA to describe the big conferences when it comes to football and basketball. And the big conferences, they call them Power Five, are the ACC, the SEC, the Big Ten, the Pac-12, and the Big 12. Well, when it comes to how everything is talked about on a social level, especially with us as working folks, well, there is also, I call it the social Power Five. Now, I'll get to the names in a minute. But what I am going to mention in this video goes a lot further than a number of videos that I've seen across YouTube. There's definitely a cultural divide, but I know I've looked at a number of videos where it said, or they said that, the black woman's the enemy, the white woman's the enemy, men are enemy, the black man's the enemy. I got that. But see, that's looking at everything from a microcosm. The problem is when you look at everything from a microcosm, you only see it from your experience. When you look at something, you got to be on a macro concept with it. And what I mean by macro, you got to look at the bigger picture. Because when a number of us talk about our enemy, and I'm going to refer to how men describe women in the workplace, women on television, women in education, and then we go back and say the men who have all of these responsibilities in the workplace, education, they give women power, right? Of course they do. Women wouldn't be where they are if it wasn't for this power that they're getting. So a number of you women, if you think you're balling out of control, you're not balling out of control. You're just being used. And you're being used by who? The social Power Five. And here is the makeup of the social Power Five. And once you get an idea of why they're using women as men, you'll find that the real world, particularly in the Western civilization, will become very easy to figure out. Now, the Power 5 social conferences, when it comes to society, are number one, government. And what does government do? Well, government is the one who utilizes their political power by putting programs in place such as alimony, child support, welfare, you name it. They put these programs in place and they're very confiscatory, to take from one to give to the other. It's a socialist paradigm. We all know it. But a number of us who are uninformed think that's a good idea. It is not a good idea. Why? Because it doesn't allow people who are lazy to maximize their full potential. It keeps them lazy. It keeps them being victims. Now, the second is religion. Because if you look at what's going on, you have a lot of big churches out here. Joel Osteen, Joyce Meyer, especially a lot of these black pastors out here. And who do they have in their congregation? Women. Because they can utilize women's emotions to keep themselves in power. A lot of Christianity is basically made up. It's indoctrination. It's used on the weaker sex to make them feel whole. Because when it comes to church, church is not very logical. In fact, you have a number of pastors who will go into a few scriptures, they raise their voice to get the women's emotions. That's the whole concept of church. Because if you're a true believer of God, you don't have to go to church. You don't need a preacher to tell you about scriptures when you can read the scriptures for yourself. Because the true Bible wasn't the King James Version. The true Bible was in Latin, but Latin is a dead language. The media. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys talk about women out here like they're the enemy. But women are used by the media. They're portrayed in a certain way to make money for the people who run the media. That's a fact. You look at all these commercials who make women look smart and men look like bumbling idiots. Well, that's the way they set it up. Education is another indoctrination. When you go to college, you have a lot more women in college. Why? Because it's much easier for women to get scholarships and grant money. And the big reason is because women are consumers. It's not that they're learning anything in school because of some of the majors that they go into. Now, if you go into STEM, if you go into medical, business, law, something like that, that's very marketable. But all these other majors just to become social justice warriors, and you pay your money, you get financial aid, and a number of you use your financial aid money not for what it's supposed to be. And I'm talking about the refund check. You use it for yourselves. Because a lot of these colleges make money off of financial aid. And because more women go to college, more women incur debt because of college. The fifth is private companies. Again, it goes by products. When you see a lot of stores out here, most of these stores cater to women. Women spend a lot of money. Now, what I've done is broken down the Power 5 social conferences and what they have done to women. And see, as men look at women as the enemy, women aren't the enemy. They've never been the enemy. Your real enemy is your government, religion, media, education, and private companies. Why? Because they're utilizing women's emotions and victimization to not only extract money from them, but extract money from you. But a lot of you guys are too far gone into your emotions thinking that it's the fault of women. No, it has never been the fault of women. In fact, the Power Five social conferences, they love feminism. They love a gynocentric society because it helps the Power Five stay in power and they can align their pockets, and they utilize women as a voting bloc. And when you tell women what they want to hear, particularly from the political aspect, they're going to come and vote for you. Now, not all women, but a number of women out here are petulant children. You can feed them anything, and as long as it sounds good, they're going to take it. A number of women out here, particularly today's women, are like sheep. One goes into the slaughterhouse, the next one will go right behind them, even though the first one doesn't come out. But I'm not trying to downgrade women because it isn't their fault. What I'm doing in this video, and I'm not going to use the word trying, what I am doing in this video is giving men and women the insight of what's really going on in society while we have such a divide between men and women. Men and women aren't each other's enemies, particularly the ones who are working men and women. What the Power Five social conferences are basically doing, they're utilizing women as a buffer so men won't challenge what we call the status quo. If you understand what the status quo is, that's what Donald Trump refers to as the swamp. Your career politicians, your preachers, your media moguls, your CEOs of private companies, your educators. Well, these are the people in those positions who are driving the culture in this country. And unfortunately, they're driving it into a cliff. Why? Because they don't care anything about you and me or the regular folks. They have their own little club and they care about maintaining their own power. And they're going to do anything to keep themselves in power. Because if they ever became regular folk like us, they would be challenged. Some of them may even be brutally harmed. And what the people in these Power Five social conferences do, they hide behind their status, their money. And they look at the rest of us in this country as we don't know what's going on. We do know what's going on, but a number of us don't know how to challenge it. And the way we challenge it is, well, we have to have money. Well, again, these Power Five culture conferences hold all the money. So they're only going to give us crumbs. And they know you can't challenge them with crumbs. So what I am saying to all you guys, and I'm not being a simp here, I'm just telling you the direct truth. We can't put the onus on women. The onus is on other men who are running this country. And I've said that in a couple of videos of mine. That's why I don't do videos on black women. Because the type of black women I associate with aren't the type of black women that a number of the brothers associate with. If you feel yourself in a situation that is not safe, you get out of it. But what I am doing is giving you this macrocosm of what's really going on in this country when it comes to the gynocracy in this country. Well, it is set in stone by the government, religion, media, education, and private companies. That's where it's coming from. And the people who we should be challenging as men are individuals who are involved with those organizations. A number of us talk about how bad everything is, but refuse to do anything about it. Yes, you ladies out there, the reason why I said you're not balling out of control is because you're only given this power for a certain time. Because the government, religion, media, education, and private companies at any moment's notice can take that power away from you as well. You just don't see it. But one thing they are taking away from you, ladies, is your inability to be women. They're turning you into something that I haven't seen. But you're falling for it. Because you think it makes you strong. Think it makes you independent. No, it doesn't. It makes you look controlled, beaten up. It really breaks your self-esteem because you're being lied to every day. These Power 5 social conferences, women are only using you to extract money from men to give to you so you can continue to pay for a lot of these products out here. You're really making individuals in government, religion, media, private companies, and education richer. That's why a number of them support your behavior. And again, it's not all women, but it is a number of today's women. Again, if you're not one of these women I'm talking about, please don't come by my channel and leave a nasty comment, because I do read my comments. You must be intelligent with common sense if you're going to come on my channel. I don't curse in my videos, and I'm not going to disrespect anybody in my videos, and I'm not going to have anybody disrespect me, because I am putting the truth out there. The bottom line is that women, you are being used, you are being lied to every day. You just don't want to see it. And men, you're also being lied to when you're told that women are the enemies. No, women are not the enemies. Your own enemy is the individuals who have the power, who are your same gender. If you think about who's running everything in this country, men are running everything in this country. But why do women get everything? Well, because men don't spend money like women do. So we think long term when it comes to building infrastructure. Women don't build infrastructure. They think short term. Women buy goods so they can raise their social status. Now, I'm not saying all of them are like that, but a number of them are like that because they love to get around their girlfriends and brag about what they have. Brag about, well, I paid this amount of money for this amount of money for that. That's what a number of women do. Their whole mindset is very short term. This is why a number of them are bad money managers. But the Power 5 social conferences also know that. But what I want everybody to see is Look what the government, religion, media, education, and private companies has done to everyone's psyche. I mean, morals and values are lost, families are destroyed, education is going down the tank. Education today really is more about indoctrination from a left wing point of view. What's on TV is nothing but garbage. Your music is garbage. Religion is nothing more than a ploy to get money. Government is too damn big and it's very confiscatory. But unfortunately, the government has gotten a number of people in this frame of mind that you need them. And over the past 50 years, government has gotten even bigger. It's because too many people are dependent on government. You see, you become more self-sufficient and understand that government, religion, media, education, and private companies, now there are some good things that these areas can do. But a number of us don't see the good areas. Most of what is in these branches or these conferences is all destructive. You see, in the real world, men and women need each other. They are equal, but they play different roles. Women are nurturers and teachers. Men build and maintain infrastructure. That's it. Both are very significant. A mother and a father are very important. But the government, religion, media, private companies, and education doesn't promote that. In fact, families are definitely a threat to government because when families were intact, you had less people on welfare. And what happened when you had less people on welfare? Well, government couldn't put that program in place. Therefore, you don't have workers making money from the taxpayers because you need somebody to work in that program in order to get the clients, have a conference with the clients. Not only do you have a conference with the clients, well, you can figure out where the money's going to go and how much. That's the whole purpose of a welfare worker. You look at the media, without us, there wouldn't be any movies like Black Panther. There wouldn't be any movies like Star Wars. And the problem with all these organizations is all of them are in bed with each other. Because the people who run these organizations have a lot of money. They're very powerful. Power and influence can raise a society or it can bring down a society. And what I've seen over the I'm going to say going back to the 90s when it comes to the media and music, well, in the black sector, you had these rappers disrespecting black women. But these rappers were also disrespecting themselves. And you look at it now, rap music is horrible. I mean, it's not even talking about anything conscious. What they do, if you want to understand how it's made, they use a drum machine. Well, it used to be called an 808, and then they had the 909. They use a lot of computer beats. They don't produce it the same way they used to. And a lot of what you hear is crap. But you have a number of people buying it. And see, what these 5 organizations know how to do, they know how to give you a subpar product that sounds good to the mind who's uninformed, But in the long run, that subpar product is never going to end up being a classic. And you're going to have to constantly replace it, which means that's money in the pockets of all of these powerful people who are in government, religion, education, private companies, and of course, media. So, what I want to put out to everybody is that women and men aren't each other's enemy. Although we perceive it because we're thinking from a microcosm or our own experiences, which tend to be emotional. And I've always said emotion clouds critical thinking. I always believe that you should take the time out to investigate what's going on around you. And you see what these organizations, they've accepted violence. I mean, look at all these school shootings. Look at all the crime. Well, who puts out the indoctrination or the influence of accepting violence? The media. See, a lot of these games out there, Call of Duty, a number of individuals utilize these games as events that they could put out in the real world. But the difference is, when you play a video game, you're only harming people in the video game. But when you actually go out and take somebody's life, that life can't be replaced. Even if they give you the death penalty, you took somebody's life senseless. You were very senseless. Why? Because you were influenced by a game. And that's why you have to challenge the system. We all do who are working class. We have to be educated on what's really going on in this country instead of thinking about what's going on. I mean, in the black sector, you can flag somebody's channel. You can debate them all day, but it's not going to change reality. It's not going to change what's going on. That's why I always believe in going after the source. In this country, we got to start looking at the real world, not from a perspective that's virtuous. And this is what social media has created. Individuals are utilizing social media to do devious acts. Whether it's committing murders on Facebook Live or incest on Facebook Live. These 5 areas that I've mentioned, although they are, of course, parts of organizations, I also get this. It's not the government, religion, media, education, and of course private companies. It's the people. I got that. But you have to challenge these people. These people are not God. They may think they're God, but they're not God. They're humans just like the rest of us. And when you're misinformed as a man and a woman, we start looking at each other and we hate each other. The bottom line is the status quo. The people who make up government, religion, media, education, and private companies, they're the ones who are bringing down the country because of their policies. Because at the end of the day, these individuals don't care about us. They care about lining their pockets. And if you don't believe me, observe it for yourself, and you'll find out that I'm not wrong with what I'm saying. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show for this Saturday, March 24th, 2018. You can tune into the 411 Talk Zone radio show every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio, although we've been doing it on Sundays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now, I'm not going to do it this week either. Why? Because I'm watching March Madness and the Final Four is on next week, but after that, I will continue the shows. I'm going to run them either on Saturday or Sunday. But if you want to be a guest on the show, the guest calling number is 215-383-5785. And if you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Now, on this channel, I don't engage in debates, controversy, or emotional issues, and that's only based on how you as the audience member receive the information of it being emotional. What I do here, I put out content that's positive and realistic. So this is why I don't participate in drama and or unnecessary bickering, because it's counterproductive. What I do on my channel is give you the information from my perspective, and I investigate the information before I present it, because I want you to understand how the real world works. Just like today, when I'm talking about the real destruction of this country, men, it's not women, women, it's not men, but it's government, religion, media, education, and private companies. And if you understand that portion, you are ahead of the game. But if you don't, you're going to keep being victims. But again, when you have knowledge, you have power. And if you have a business topic or a new YouTube channel that you would like for me to discuss on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. If you have a comment, please leave your comment in the comment section under the video. But make sure that your comments are pithy. No bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering if you wish to opine. Now that's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other, and have a wonderful and blessed day.